Let me clear my throat. 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 Let me clear my. Let me clear my throat. 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 Let me clear. Let me clear. Just let me clear. Let me clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. Let me clear my throat, man. Let me clear my. Man, can I breathe? Let me clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. Check it out, Joe. Because y'all should be this real in the house. Yeah. Let me clear my throat. 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 Let me clear. Let me clear my throat. 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 Let me. Let me clear my throat. Let me clear. Let me clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. What up, y'all? This is Yasha Ben Israel in the house. Back at you one more again with another good old special. Today I like to talk about the ways and the laws of Yahweh God and how they differ from that of the world. No, I don't have a bunch of slides and PowerPoints. I have nothing to prove. I just have something to say. And the only thing I want to say, starters, is that the ways and the laws of Yahweh, God, is much, much different from that of this world. I don't that they're different from that of the planet, right? But they're different from this world. And what I mean, I'm talking about paradigm. The ways of this world is much different from this paradigm. Now, before I get started, I want to say something. You see this right here where it say DOA hit squad? Never mind that. That's some old personal squabble between DOA and his hit squad. They ain't got problems with Terry. None. I'm not beefing. I said what I had to say. And I'm going to keep saying what there is for me to say. This is my life. This is how I live. I breathe. I move. I have my being. I'm not beefing with the hit squad. They beefing with me. I'm not paying them guys no attention. Their attention is on me. I have befriended none of them. They have befriended me because I reject and I throw it up. I vomit. Yeah, that type of thing. What they have to say to me. And that's what it is. Now, if you want to talk to me, you're going to have to now elevate up to my level. And if you can't elevate to my level, from now on, I don't want to talk to you. We got rid of the fuck shit with bitch ass niggas like Polite, right? We're not going to keep repeating this garbage when we got rid of bitch ass niggas like Polite. Well, we should have kept Polite out here on the streets in the bitch shit, right? So we lock him up and then we deal with him, right? I say we as a nation, as a state, as a community, and as individuals. I have no beef with the hit squad. Although they have beef with me, right? DOA's hit squad, Allen, and he texts me, keep Terry's name. Terry, can you keep our name out of your mouth? No, I can't keep your name out of my mouth when DOA was supposed to be a brother and a friend, right? I'm a man, and I know how to let bygones be bygones, right? I know how to fucking don't get stuck, right? I know how to let bygones be bygones, man. Do y'all know what that means? By, BYEGONE. Bygone. And as a man, I have to be that way. I have to let bygones be bygones. Bygone, nigga. Bygone bitch. I hate to have to talk like this, right? And I would really want to get into what I want to talk about. But as a man, I have to let by and gone be bygones, right? Men deal with the issues, deal with the problems, and they go about their business. Men are basically stoic, right? That's what men are. Men are basically stoic. Why my brother Eric tried to tell y'all to study philosophy and mythology and things of that nature. And it's much bigger than Eric. Just respect that Eric is a man, and he tried to tell y'all that the ways of this world did not pass Eric in education, right? I'm saying that Eric ain't got. I'm just telling y'all, my people, right? He don't have a major degree, maybe not even a diploma, maybe, right? But I guarantee you that Eric can talk to the best of the best on the topics. Why is that? Eric embraces YHWH in Israel. Okay? And I wish that y'all keep my brother Eric out of me and y'all's beef. Well, actually, y'all's beef, because I bear witness on my program today, and I'm not going to, I spent 10 minutes plus talking about this. I have no beef with Tim Learcy and Allen, right? We had a research group. Well, we have a research group. We do, and it still exists. It just included, now excluded y'all, right? Because we can worship with y'all, but we don't worship with y'all. So we just buy and gone. Bygone. Let bygones be bygones. That being stated, I want to talk about the ways and the laws of Yahweh. God is different from that of this world. And again, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of loud talking, a whole bunch of PowerPoints, just some things that needs to be said around this world, right? And I'm going to tell you why I chose this topic for today. I chose the topic for today because it needs to be understood that what God called real, Yahweh, Yahweh, right? Yahuwah, you would have Y, the tetragrammaton, however way you process that. It's different from that of this world. This world will label me as a criminal. This world has labeled me as a criminal. This world has labeled me as a thug. I'm being honest with you, I got a violent record, about as thick as an encyclopedia. And this world will label me as a criminal. And I'm saying that the things that I have fought for and the things that I have stood for, God would have labeled me as a hero. I'm stating that from the laws of this paradigm of this world. The things that this paradigm values is nothing in the eyesight of God. On the contrast of that, the things that God's value means nothing here. The things that means everything here mean nothing to God. Basically made simple. This world, this paradigm is not a godly paradigm. That must be made clear. This paradigm is a very, very wicked paradigm. There's people in this paradigm that's always rooting male, white, blue, or green. And they only pick what they want in their lives to win. God said that's not so. But man overpowered God. And think about that. It's called democracy. America is supposed to be the land of the free, of the brave. I remember I might have been probably about the third grade, right? And I remember Mr. Sims. He was our gym teacher. And he promoted people. And he stood, he's like Sonetta type guy, you know. He chose who he chose. And this young man, he would sit up there and present him as the example of what a student should be. And I knew that I was greater than that person in every aspect of that. And he used to tell us about this student and tell us that this guy right here walk on the roads that you boys drive on. The road that you all ride on, this boy right here walks them. I didn't like that because that was a confusing statement and that was too much to give a young child. But I didn't take that as something to make me feel inferior to that guy or make me want to be an example to that guy. Example, you know. But what I did do was knew my value. And one day, I became, it was at Ayers Elementary. It's no longer in existence. There's probably no education records you can find, real records, you know, because the schools, the records exist, but the schools don't. We talk about elementary. And to make a long story short, right, he picked me for some reason. I don't know why the teacher asked the question. I may threw my hand up and now I'm designated. And what I'm to do is be the leader, right? Every morning, we talking about like third grade. I had to in front of the class and lead the classroom. Put your hand over your heart. We're talking about third grade. Eyes Elementary. I'm a historian and I tell valuable histories. Put your hand over your heart and your right hand up to God. Left hand over your heart, right hand up to God. Up in the air. We had to stand in that position. You talk about the whole classroom. And I stood them in front of them. And I had to lead them in saying, my country, 'tis of thee. 'Tis of who? Right? My country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty. Now you're talking about 1979, something like that, right? Long time ago, before probably many of you that are watching was ever even born. I had to stand up in class and lead the class. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet liberty. Oh, thee, or of thee, I sing. Land where my fathers pride, land where the pilgrims died. These were the forefathers that I had to lead my classroom in singing about, and I learned this in the third grade, right? Land where my father, land of pilgrims, from every mountainside, let let freedom ring. Aha! That was the part. It tricked me into wanting to lead the classroom. One day, the apparition between me and the Most High, we're talking about in the third grade, where the lyrics to that song just didn't rest well with me. Where me happened to put my left hand over my heart and my right hand up to God while I sing this song did not rest well with me. So one day, told Mr. Sims, Mr. I can't do this anymore. I just stand in front of this classroom and lead the people in saying the pledge anymore. I just can't do it. We're talking about the third grade. And he wanted to know why. And I just had to tell him my religion, man. To make a long story short, my religion. I told Mr. Sims that the idea of me putting my left hand over my heart and my right hand up to God, I am making a pledge of allegiance. And the only allegiance in the pledge that my heart was born into this world to submit to was that of God and his people. I learned at an early age, right, that there was a difference between the ways of this world and the ways of God. We're talking about the third grade. I'm wondering, how is it that I was able to get this stuff like third grade, this ideology? Because the pastor of my church wasn't thinking like that. He probably never even had the opportunity to have that type of leadership as a child. You know, I did, and I turned it down. I turned down so much in the world that could have made me great. So much. And it's because I understood early that the ways of this world is not the ways of God. I started off talking about how this world will label me a criminal. This world have had me in their courts. This world have had me fighting for my life, right? And my freedom. We talking about football numbers like 30 years, 35 years, 50 years. If the judge was not arbitrary and have understood and respected just the rights of a man, not just a black man, just this man, the case the shit never should even went to court. Every fight that I've ever had, I fought with my blood, sweat, and tears in America, whether it was for my freedom, whether it was for my beliefs, whether it was for my family. Trust me, I am not a violent psychomaniac or violent. But the judges of America have tried to make me that. Disregarding all of the college professors that have gave me great grades. Regardless of how my college experience was some of the greatest experiences of my life. Regardless of how just the interaction and the meeting between me and my college professors was like for us both, because my professors just gave me something. I gave them something. And it was all called academia and scholarship. I showed my professors that I like that. But what that got to do with anything? I'm talking about the ways of this world. Because those things are high value. But this world does not recognize them. This world has laws that God would set into play. Example, America as a country and a corporation abroad, she says you bear arms. God of the Bible doesn't even talk about such a subject. And the ways of this world, the right to bear arms, right, is the right to bear arms. It is a right. That's in this country. But how many people go to jail, prison, the penitentiary for bearing arms in a society who's constituted the fact that you have the right to bear them? But yet and still there's many people who have arms that go to jail. What I'm showing you is that there's a connection between man's law and God's law. But before we even get into that, I'm showing you the contradiction between that's in the law of man. The law of man say you got the right to bear arms, but yet still there's many people who got arms that end up in jail. Well, he didn't follow the fine print. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. He didn't. Man, I mean, what? I mean, what? So we all should be born lawyers. Oh, I digress on that. I digress on that. The law of God says, love your neighbor as yourself. If you love your neighbor as yourself, and your neighbor reciprocated and loved you as himself, then what you'll find is that there's a man who loves himself, there's a family that loves themselves, there's a neighborhood that loves themselves, there's a community that loves themselves, right? There's a city that loves themselves, there's a state, and consequently, a nation that love themselves. And being that you have that type of guardianship of love, right, there will be no need to have arms. I mean, if I love my neighbor like I love myself, I don't want to get shot. And I don't want to shoot my neighbor. And I don't want my neighbor to shoot me. So therefore, there's no need for no guns. There's no need to even have a topic of discussion for the right to have the whole community to bear arms. Because that's not a right, that's a wrong. When a whole community have a right, when a whole nation have a right to bear arms, that's because the community didn't teach the laws of God. Love thy neighbor as thyself. You know, I wouldn't break in my own house and steal and then go take anything of value in there and liquidate it and just do something worthless with it. I wouldn't do that to my house. And I certainly wouldn't do that to yours, right? And if I love my neighbor like I love myself, and I taught my neighbor that love, right? That neighbor reciprocated that love. Then that love will bounce from this door to this door to that door to that door. Now the whole neighborhood, now the whole community, the city, the state, right? I went through that already. These are facts. These are proven because in America, you will never ever challenge it and set it to the test. Genuinely. So God's laws differ greatly from the laws of this world. People, the laws of this world, like I told you from the beginning, they set traps within their own law. Gangsters, thugs, lowlifes, they all get a pass here in America, long as they're able to slickly make their ways to the top. Have you ever wondered about how some of these stars that were not so good, but industry? the monster, the beast, supported them. You're like, wow, I've seen people sing better than that in my church. But this person got a $1 million record deal. The values of that of God is different from the values of this world. See, the actual artist, any artist, just love for people to love their art. That's all any artist ever wanted. I repeat, any artist, jazz, gospel, rap, R&B, reggae, it's all the same. All of those art. Oh, I forgot the artist that likes to draw and those that like to make sculptures. Every artist dreams of his art being exhibited. I repeat, every artist's dream is that he or she, that their art is being exhibited. If a valuable art is exhibited, and if it is not exhibited, it doesn't change the value of that art. I'm just trying to tell y'all, God's world, his laws, and his ways are different from this world's laws and his ways. An artist naturally just want his work to be recognized and loved and embraced. This society's artists want the money. They don't care whether you embrace them. You got fake rap artists right now putting out fake streams, blowing their pages up falsely, and no one is buying or this. Have you ever wondered how are these record deals and these millions of dollars is given to these artists and don't nobody know who they are, people? So, hey, we talking about back at that one thing with the right to bear arms. I just want to tell you that in a wicked society, they tell you you have the right to bear arms to contradict that, lock your butt up for having arms. I mean, if the law apply, but their law does not apply because for every law that they have a way of locking your butt up. I'm just trying to tell you, God's law is not a law that's designed of locking your butt up. God's law is a law that is designed to free you mentally, right? To liberate you. God's law and his way is not a way that is trapping. It's like the more good you invest in God's law, the more blessing that you get out as a repercussion of it. The laws of this world is confusion. How do you have the right to bear arms, but you get caught with a gun and you go straight to jail? Well, you didn't follow the fine print. Well, maybe the gun wasn't registered. Maybe you went to a gas. Hold on. I was gonna say. I almost finished it. Go to the gas station. You got flipped by the green light. Bam! I said it. Now I want to talk about this green light business. I'm here to tell you, there's no green light in the law, statutes, and commandments of God. We got the green light going on in Detroit, and it's working for them. And you're going to start seeing this throughout the urban communities where the churches, the big thrive businesses, all are green lighted with the damn police. Well, what does that mean, Yasha? Well, you got the right to bear arms, right? So you should never ever go to jail if you have a gun and you wasn't committing a crime. Well, America stipulated with that because they'll go next and, well, okay, well, we ain't got nothing here, check. We ain't got nothing here, check. We ain't got nothing here, check. Who the gun belong to? This gun reported stolen, or this gun by Spain was wrong, and it doesn't trace back to this person. Bam. Gun laws are changing, people, and they're changing to protect people like the NRA. I'm just trying to tell y'all how God. See. If I'm saying in God's law, right? If I would have snatched polite ass up, made threats manifest, that would be a whole nother story. But I well, just let me leave that alone. God's laws differ greatly from that of this world, people. Just no matter how you, like I started off telling y'all about how this world just painted me out to be, you ain't shit, you're nobody, you're bum, you broke, you ain't got nothing, you'll never be nothing, you not knowing that my ideas have rocked the entire fabric of Hebrewism and Israeliteness. And I'll never get praised for it. I'll never get acknowledged for it. That's because God's ways, his law, statute, commandments, is different. And requirements, basically, is different from that of this world. I talked about the right to bear arms, and I want to. I talked about the green light. You know, in Detroit, if you want to be a gangster and a thug, a killer, a drug dealer, be careful, man. It's been out for about 10 years, and y'all have not been paying attention. Here in Detroit, the way they set it up is just really crazy. Really crazy. But I just want y'all to understand that the ways of this world is different from that of God, Yahweh. Very different. I'm just so outdone how the Israelites robbed me of my honor. The only thing that has ever gave me any type of real respect was my college professors. The white ones, the black ones. And some of the white ones didn't even want to give me, my accolades. But they did. And that was out of respect. They just had to respect it. The ways of this world is just not that of y'all people. I'm just going to just keep saying that. I'm not going to prove that. I don't have nothing to prove to anybody. At some point, a man who has been validated shouldn't have to prove anything. His word should be taken to the test. Being that you're in a wicked society that'll tell you got the right to bear arms, but then find a way to lock your butt up. It's a trick. And you probably just shouldn't bear arms to begin with, brothers and sisters. Unless you're going hunting. We're talking about hunting for food, right? And fishing, that type of thing. Unless you know that your life is on the line and somebody will do something to you, there's just no reason for you to carry guns. There's just no reason. This very law in the society, people, will set you up. Because its laws is not that of God. The society have fallen. The scripture says that the wicked shall be cast into hell, and all that has forgotten about God. All you thugs out there, gangsters, listen to me. Because there in this side, there are those in this society that plans to set you up and just to throw you away. You have to understand that, people. They got the green light thing going on here in Detroit with businesses and churches and stores and they got it to where pretty much that it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just crazy. I'm just going to tell y'all that many have walked into stores, gas stations in the city of Detroit with guns on them. And that was the end of that person. Because they finna lock your butt up. I told y'all about the green light. I told y'all about how a society will make a law and then make a state law to go against the national law when the national law is supposed to take precedence, but the state got your butt locked up. This law is not that of God. And anybody trying to conflate it and make it so is a very irrational person because God law is not going to allow you to hate his commandments and then turn around and make provisions for you to break them and you can happily break them almost. you know this is the crazy world that we live in here, people. I'm only going there because we don't live in God's society. We live in this one. All you gangsters and thugs running around here with guns, killing people. I'm telling y'all that throughout the city of Detroit, they got cameras on every freaking corner. They got the gun tracker, which means that just flat out, if I take a pistol and go outside and let it off right now, bam, or let's say, let's throw that equation. If I take a pistol or a machine gun, a bazooka, and let that thing off 50 blocks from here, the police is coming. Ain't nobody got a call. Mm-mm. When they heard that noise, the police coming. That's because there's people that have families, homes, businesses that are green light. I caught my case not understanding that. I had a pistol sitting right out on the seat. Pull up in a gas station. The gas station got the cameras. The cameras zooming in all in your car. God, the Lord does is not sabotaging like that. It's just not. You're going to get your blessing out of following God's laws, statutes, and commandments, irregardless of what the devil and this wicked demon put against us. Because I want to harp on the wickedness of this society. I bring up these laws because I just want to show you. See, America's that type of place where the police will entrap you. Think about, there's a law that states that the inside of a court case, the police do not have to tell the truth. But yet still, they want to teach me as a little goddamn boy, put my hand over my heart. My country tis a day. Sweet, come on, man. Stop. It's just sad. It's sad. It's sad. You got the right to bear arms, right? But they got lead detectors around here that's on the body of police, and it's in a car, which means that the police, as the police ride down the street, the detectors go off. If you walk in a restaurant and you got a knife or a gun or anything, a little pocket thing, concealable, you're not a threat, you're not bothering anybody, this society will take the fuck away from you. They're not here for your growth. They're not here for your development. God is, people. I told y'all I'm not about to be getting in no PowerPoints or none of that. I'm just trying to show y'all the wickedness of the society. How they will have laws to actually set up its own individuals. Well, God's laws are designed to give you freedom, liberty, moral righteousness. God's law is not going to set you up, right? And tell you to do, get married. Go get married. And then your marriage become a failure and a disaster. God does. If there's a real God in the universe, that God does not, just couldn't work like that. We're living in some real bad, crazy situations where new religions is popping up out of nowhere. New One West camps popping up out of nowhere. Although there's whole camps. The boys down at Dallas, down in Texas, they denounced it, all of that. buffoonery that is not rooted in the laws of God, that we don't care about these things. But let's look at the European Jew and how he regarded these things and why him and his family are the they are the patriarchs of this movement. I'm just so appalled how this government set laws up, but then turn around and just don't even regard it, don't even respect it. That's with or without a lawyer. Crazy. Old Polite and did the thing that his father, his God, or guide, or whatever the fuck slick talk he was trying to say. Yash just over here airing it out. Because we have to understand people. The only people that don't understand is the people who don't take the time to read. And those who do take the time to read, a lot of this information goes over the top of their heads. Where we just need to understand the difference between God's law and man's law. I could break a man's law and the whole world and came to a fucking end. To those who saw me break it. People, it's about righteousness. I'm not even going to say holiness as much as righteousness. You know, you can see any Jehovah Witness or brainwashed individual that'll fall for the okie doke. Yeah. Well, I want to take off this think cap. Yep. I want to take off this think cap, and I'm about ready to end the show because I put the most important things in because we put too much value in the ways of this world to the point to where we even judge according to the way of this world. Look at Sonetta, for instance, the way he invested into the ways of this world were polite. And God's law said different. His commandments say different. His judges says different. We can't afford to be out here playing with our lives. If ain't nobody trying to kill you, don't be walking around here with knives and guns and shit on you. Right? If you gotta humble yourself out of a situation, just do that. Because these same laws in America will set your butt up. I'm just telling y'all, man, open up a book. Try to put some knowledge in your soul. Trust me, it'll work wonders. But I'm about ready to get up on out of here. And this is Yasha signing out.